But talking about the Heat, and this one kind of gets serious, both because Chris Bosh is both one of a fantastic player in the NBA, but also this might be his career. I mean, we might not see Chris Bosh again, and near the All-Star break, he had the blood clot issues come back up again, and it wasn't in his heart this time. It was in his leg, so it wasn't as serious as people thought. And people were like, well, maybe Chris Bosh can make it back for the playoffs. Now the Heat have indefinitely ruled him out for the playoffs. Chris Bosh is not coming back for the Heat. Do you think this seriously affects, first off, the Heat's playoff run? And what do you really think of this Chris Bosh situation? I mean, should he be allowed to play if he feels well enough to play, or do you think the NBA and the Miami Heat are in the right?
I think the Heat, have kind of found how they're going to run this team without Chris Bosh. He's been out for quite some time this season, so it's not, going to change up their dynamic, really. They found their groove. I don't think they have enough firepower to continue on. If they go even with the Raptors and take it to 7, I mean, who knows? Because the Raptors have been really piss poor at shooting. That's their best chance, but I don't know. No, there's no chance they get past the Cleveland Cavaliers without, Chris Bosh back and healthy. So I think this kind of put the cap on their playoff run this season. Sure, you can say, oh, we're going to go out there, we're going to compete, but let's be realistic. It's just not going to happen.
I am actually on the other side of it. I don't think it's one of those things where just because Chris Bosh isn't out there, you're not going to do X, Y, or Z. This team, to me, right now on the court, runs through D. Wade. And D. Wade, the past, you look at him game 1, you look at him last series when Purple Shirt Guy, not talking Five Nights at Freddy's, I'm talking the Hornets fan, pissed off D. Wade. That is the kind of energy that this Heat team has. However you look at it, and this entire season, Chris Bosh, we've even seen articles where Bosh has been kind of transforming into more of that leader for the team. Kind of to me, I see it as like a coach on the sideline, kind of coaching up Whiteside, coaching up these young players. And to me, I think this could be the perfect transition for Bosh if he wants to go into coaching, because this is serious. I think going back to your first question, Sean, I don't think Bosh is the kind of guy that's like, I'm going to give it a go because I got to be out there for my team. This is a very serious matter, and it's pretty much either you're alive or you're not. So we're going to keep you off the court because we value your life.
Bosh is wanting to play, though. Bosh does not want to sit out, though. I think Bosh understands the severity of this, but if Bosh says if he's medically cleared, he's going to play. That's the thing. He's not medically cleared, and I think the NBA is more like, we can't have a player die on a court. And obviously they want to show some humanity, too. They're also like, well, you need to check out and make sure that this is 100% cleared up. But I mean, looking at Bosh's career, I mean, he's been a fantastic player. He's obviously when he's playing and he's healthy, he's one of the most productive big men. And looking at Bosh, I mean, that's a huge blow for the Heat. I think that's a huge blow for the Heat's playoff run, because now that kind of takes away a guy who can really defend K-Love, and that's the one thing that the Cavs do have above the Heat, is that they don't really have a guy that can defend K-Love. I mean, they have the inside presence of Whiteside. I mean, maybe Dwayne Wade can show or just play that one more spark and kind of do that again, where he can really be that guy of
take over a series.
Yeah. But I mean, I think Bosh would have added, given that push there. And looking at Bosh's contract situation, if this is deemed career ending, they would be able to waive Bosh and apply for a medical exception that would wipe his salary of $23.7 million that year. So it wouldn't really be detrimental to the Heat there, but it would be detrimental to both Chris Bosh's career and obviously just the Heat's chances further on, because Chris Bosh was still a part of their future plans.
Absolutely. I mean, and you got to think about it this way too. He really came back into the old Raptors Chris Bosh this year. Like, he was putting up over 21 points a night when he came back, this season. So you really saw like that reemergence of the dominant force on the court after the LeBron days had left, and he kind of reformed his old role. So with, like you said, aging Dwayne Wade, and if you remove him from that picture, where's this team going to go? There's a lot of question marks, because, prior, okay, we had this contract money tied up. Now, are we going to drop that money and keep Whiteside here guaranteed? Are we going to go out and get ourselves another big who can, let us compete right now? try to eke out the last little bit of Dwayne Wade at the end of his career. Like, there's a lot of different ways they could go with this team.
And looking at the NBA, I mean, should the NBA really put a limit on them, on Chris Bosh here? Because if Chris Bosh is healthy and he's medically cleared, but the NBA know he has this condition, should they allow him to play? I mean, should they really be controlling whether a person's allowed to make money like this or not?
In the end, I think it's like you're saying, like, oh, the NBA. In the end, I think this is a Heat decision because I don't think it's going to get to an NBA decision because the Heat are aligned with the same kind of principles of the NBA. If he's not medically cleared, he's not going to play, and that's just the bottom line of it because we can't have him go out there and get hurt even more.
It's not even a hurt thing. I mean, if he dies on the court, I mean, this is a serious thing. I mean, obviously the NBA might look out for themselves and be like, all right, we don't want this guy, collapsing on the court.
Anytime Bosh is on the court now, you have that concern. You have that extra little something in the back of your head, like, if anything happens to him, like, what happens? I mean, that's a lot to put on somebody. I mean, think about football. It's like we see, all these huge concerns with, the head trauma, and it's like it's going to happen, and we all know it, and we all feel terrible about it. But, there's guys like Danny Amendola and Julian Edelman who are extremely prone to it, and Wes Welker was the case, the be-all, end-all of king of concussions. Like, I can't believe the Rams had the conscience to put him back out on the field. This guy can't remember last week, and you're going to play him. I feel like the NFL should have stepped in there, so I really hope the NBA takes a step forward and really just kind of says, be like, look, this is what's best for everyone.
And I'm saying that the NBA won't need to step in because this organization run by Pat Riley isn't going to put Bosh in that situation.
But do you think someone else will? Because the Patriots weren't going to do that for Wes Welker, but somebody else in the league stepped in and was like, I'm not going to pass up on your talent.
I do not.
I'll take a flyer on you.
No. If the Heat if the Heat waive him for medical reasons, nobody's going to touch him. Because like we've said, the NBA is far different than the NFL.
But looking at Chris Bosh, though, he is still a productive player in the NBA when healthy. And if people think, what if his medical condition clears up, or another different doctor does clear him? I mean, maybe a team will take a chance on him. And then I also look at, maybe the Heat doesn't take the chance, but a different team does. Maybe the NBA looks at a situation like in 1990 with the unfortunate situation of the Loyola Marymount University player Hank Gathers, who died on the court because of a blood clot, because he was of a heart condition. I mean, do they take a chance? Do they roll the dice there on allowing a player to play? Because maybe the NBA does step in and do that because they say, all right, he might be medical cleared now, but he's had this issue twice come up. Maybe they do not let this proceed and just say, all right, Chris Bosh, I mean, unfortunately, we can't allow you to play in our league because of this situation.
I'm going to put it this way. In my head, I do not think a team would take that chance. However, if a team does take the chance, Adam Silver will step in because he's not Roger Goodell, and Adam Silver's out for the players, not for making money. Well, making money over player safety, I should say.
I would say Chris Bosh put up 21-7-2 and like a steal and a block a game. I mean, no one's going to pass that up in the NBA. Like, oh, you say you're good to play? You're medically, you have nothing wrong at this moment. Why wouldn't I sign that guy?
Exactly. I mean, look at the times that he has not had LeBron James on his team. I mean, if you look from 2010 to 2013, he was averaging around 18 to 16. Then LeBron leaves Miami, 21, 19. He's playing up to the level that he was in Toronto, where he's averaging 24, 22. His skill is not diminished. I just think that if a team is like, all right, this guy's clear to play, we're not gonna take the chance.
Even a Chicago fan would be like, well, that'd be a perfect fit. Paul Gasol out, Chris Bosh in.
Why? I would, with everything.
Consciously, I would feel awful.
I wouldn't. No,
I feel uncomfortable.
I wouldn't take the chance.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm in agreement.
That's why you say, why would you shake your? I know, but that's why when you say, why are you shaking your head? That's why, because I think like that.
Because owners want money, and he will bring money, and he will make their team better. I mean, even with the health condition. I mean, the thing is, they're more about making money. They're more about, this guy can bring in jersey sales. This guy can make our team better.
That's like, and if it gets to that point, that's where Silver will step in because, like I said, Silver is different than you bring up the NFL. Goodell wants money. Goodell doesn't give it. Like, I'm at the point where Goodell doesn't give a shit about the players. He just wants money. Silver's a guy where he doesn't want Bosh dying on the court.
You would hope that. I mean, it would be unfortunate if that situation wasn't true. I mean, it's a terrible topic to talk about because, I mean, Chris Bosh, I mean, this is it could possibly be
he's
career
been
ending.
In the league for 12 years. Yeah. And he, again, like you said, he's still playing peak performance. Like, he's still got it. He's got a lot ahead of him if he's healthy.
And this isn't really something that's his fault. It's probably a genetic thing. So, I mean, unfortunately with Chris Bosh, I mean, it's hard to see.
And the one thing I do want to bring up from it a little bit earlier when, can they beat the Cavs without Bosh? The Heat can. They did it late in the season with LeBron on the court. It wasn't one of those things where, LeBron was sitting. They did it without Bosh. They can do it in the playoffs. Cavs Heat would be a great series.
It would be a great series, but can they do it for 7 games?
Yeah, I think they could. It would go to 7, but they could.
In that game that they won, that you have, just for example, J.R. Smith only shot the ball twice.
J.R. Smith is the key to the Cavaliers. I think, and we kind of mentioned this earlier on in the podcast, that this Cav team does look different than any game in the regular season. This team does look unstoppable at points. I mean, 6-0 right now in the playoffs. This team might be a different team.
As you say that, they're down 63-55 at half. So just to give you guys a little bit of when we're recording this,
8 points is nothing. I mean, watch JR put up
in Atlanta. On the road?
4 3-pointers.
Let's be honest.
4 3-pointers, and we're back in it.
Let's be honest. It's not like Cleveland
we're back in it like I'm a Cleveland fan.
It's not like Cleveland, deserves to be smacked around or anything after embarrassing the Hawks. Going for a record, no big deal. Like, hey, we're just going to jack up threes all night because why not?
This could be a different Cleveland team.
We might see 40 points.
We might see the page, the turning page of Cleveland. And also, don't bring that up around Charles Barkley. He might get really angry.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's going to wrap up this episode of the Fast Break Podcast. Thank you so much for listening, everybody, on SoundCloud. If you are listening on SoundCloud, hit that little red like button, and you can repost this to all your friends, and we would love the support there. If you're listening on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We would love the support. And if you do want to share this to all your friends, that would be greatly appreciated. We would love all the support you give us, and if you do want to give us even extra support, more support than you're already giving us,
maximum support,
like even with all the likes and shares and follows and subscribing, you can follow us on, or you can check us out on our Patreon page, patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. You can look at our Patreon, our rewards, our goals, and if you do sign up for, I think it's $1 a month, you can get a exclusive Patreon podcast episode. So if you do want to check that out, we would greatly appreciate it. And if you do want to talk to us in a different way, you can talk to us on Twitter. You can follow Most Valuable Podcast at Most Valuable Pod. You can follow me on Twitter at Schwarbo. You can follow Ricky on Twitter at Ricky Widmer. You can follow Dave on Twitter at Dave_don't_tweet. And you can also follow us on Snapchat at Most Valuable Pod. But that's going to wrap up this video, and we will see you next week.
Thank you for listening to this MVP podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Most Valuable Pod for more great podcasts.